Female Football Focus, switching the field, keeping you updated with the latest women's football news.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is you're listening to this, whatever you're doing. Welcome to episode 3 of my new podcast, Female Football Focus. In this week's episode, we will be talking about the results of this week's second round of group stages, as well as talking a bit in depth about England's win over Argentina. So kicking off where we left, Japan drew 0-0 with Argentina. No one saw that coming really. Japan were all over Argentina but just couldn't score. I mean, it's always hard against a team that just kind of sits back and defends. But credit to Argentina, they did it very well. The players celebrated as if they had won the tournament. I mean, they had reason to, this was their first ever World Cup point, so of course, go celebrate, big result. But certainly nobody saw that result coming. So England also faced Argentina, and we'll get onto that once we've gone through the other results. In Group E, Canada faced Cameroon. Canada had quite a few chances in the first half, but couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. However, on the brink of half-time, on the 7th corner, Buchanan's header gave Canada the lead. She ran in right from the edge of the 18, absolutely nobody tracked her, and in the end it was a nice easy header down into the goal, and Canada took the lead. Now, Cameroon had 1 or 2 chances, not a lot. Canada were pretty quiet at the back, but Canada could have had 2 or 3. It was a close game. Good defending to Cameroon, credit to them in the end, minus the goal. There was a couple of clearances off the line, and the game finished 1-0 to Canada. Good start to Canada. Not a bad effort by Cameroon. Let's see how the other game in Group E got on. So the Netherlands took on New Zealand. New Zealand came closest to scoring first after hitting the bar from a mistake at the back by the Netherlands, and then they forced a good save after a long-range effort from a counter-attack. The Dutch fought back though and came close themselves right at the end of half-time. But then the beginning of the second half was very similar to the beginning of the first half. Gregorius couldn't connect right and missed a huge chance for New Zealand. The Netherlands looked so open at the back. In an interesting game, the Dutch then had a couple of chances themselves, forcing goalkeeper Naylor to make a good save. But with time almost up, it was looking like a 0-0 draw. With one last chance, a messy cross into the box, not dealt with at all, was headed home by Raw, giving the Netherlands a 1-0 win. A very, very lucky win there by the Netherlands. In Group F, Chile took on Sweden. Sweden had many chances but were denied by 1 or 2 amazing saves from goalkeeper Entler. The game was then paused for about 40 minutes due to thunder and lightning, but this might have been what Sweden needed, as Lani gave Sweden the lead not long after coming back from the break, and another late goal in added time secured Sweden the win. 2 goals in the last 10 minutes of the game, giving Sweden the 3 points they need. USA then played Thailand, and I'm not going to say too much after USA's whopping 13-0 win. Some absolutely amazing goals in there. There was 5 for Morgan, 2 for Lavelle, 1 for Horan, 2 for Mewis, 1 for Raponi, 1 for Pugh, and finally 1 for Lloyd. Yep, USA smashed the record for the biggest win. I mean, no guesses on who's going to win Golden Boot this year. But you have to feel for Thailand. Many thought it was too much, and I'm kind of in 2 minds about it. I see both sides. The only way teams are going to get better is from their mistakes, and USA certainly showed them why they're one of the best teams in the world. But I do feel for them. Maybe it was too much. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I think USA might have the biggest goal difference in this group. Right, on to round 2 of the group stages now. In one of the big matches this week, France played Norway. France took the lead 45 seconds into the second half from a cross. 10 minutes later though, Renard put the ball in her own net. Absolutely no idea what she was doing. It was an awful own goal. There was nobody near her. I don't know whether it was she didn't get a call or something or what, but it was very poor by such an experienced player. 68 minutes in though, VAR got involved, giving France a penalty. Correct decision in my opinion. It was a nasty follow through, and Les Sommer tucks it home to put France top of the group on 6 points, and that should be enough to see them through to the last 16. Nigeria then took on Korea. Quite a close game actually, chances going either way. The opening goal did come in the 29th minute after another own goal. It was very controversial though. VAR reviewed it for a very long time as Operonosi looked like she tried to hit the ball with her hand. It certainly looked bad, like her hand did kind of reach towards the ball. But in the end it was given and 1-0 to Nigeria. Korea did come back though, but unfortunately their goal was disallowed because of offside. Another close one as her shoulder was just off. A big let off for Nigeria's goalkeeper that, as she fumbled it straight into GM Lee's feet. But then Nigeria secured the victory in the 75th minute with some good pace and control by Oshuala, giving Nigeria the 3 points that they needed. So that puts France on top with 6 points, followed by Norway on 3 and Nigeria also on 3 after that win. Norway are slightly above on goal difference though. And finally, Korea sit bottom, having lost both their opening games. So Korea will need a win off Norway today to have some hope of qualifying, but it's looking very unlikely. If France beat Nigeria, they will win the group and qualify top for the last 16. This will give France a draw against 3 CDE. In Group B, another big game, Germany played Spain. Spain started as the team on top, but 42 minutes in, it was Germany who took the lead. A nice cross and then a header from Pop. A great reaction save by the keeper, but it just fell to the Brits, who tapped it in. I am a bit confused as to what the defender was doing. It's like she didn't know the Brits was there. Like, she kind of just jogged towards it, allowing the Brits to get there first. Quite poor there actually. But it was a very close game, reasonably entertaining. There was chances both ways, a lot more Germany's way after the goal. Germany came out on top with a 1-0 win, 6 points to Germany. South Africa played China, also in Group B, in a must-win game for both of them after losing their opening games. China scored the first and only goal of the game in the 40th minute. A nice ball into the box and a well-taken finish by Li Ying. China then hit the bar in the second half with goal line technology ruling it out. So close though. China were unlucky to get 1 or 2 more actually. Some nice play there by them and a couple of good saves by the goalkeeper, but China take the win, 1-0. So that puts Germany top of Group B after their 1-0 win over Spain on 6 points. Spain are in second with 3 points on goal difference over China, also on 3 points. And South Africa last with no points despite their promising start in their opening game against Spain last week. So tonight Germany will play South Africa at the same time as Spain will play China. Spain beat China is a very big game, battle for second place. Should be very entertaining. Both teams need a win to ensure that they qualify, although I still think that whoever loses will qualify as best third place, and whoever finishes third could potentially play England in the next round. So very big game there. In Group C, it was another big game, Australia versus Brazil, and wasn't it an entertaining game? Brazil took the lead from the spot after a reasonably controversial foul. Some don't think it was a penalty, but at the end of the day, she was pulling her shirt and brought her down. I think it was a penalty. I completely agree with the ref and VAR. Marta put it away. She is now the first one to score in 5 World Cups. Brazil then got another goal, a 4th from Cristiane, but another late goal just before half-time put Australia back into it. A lovely ball in and then a flick onto Ford, who slid in to put it in the back of the net. The comeback's on. In the second half, Australia then got another goal to bring it level, 2-2, and just to make this game even more interesting, a third goal came from another own goal, this time extremely controversial. So the Australian attacker Kerr was in an offside position but never touched the ball. However, the Brazilian defender headed it over and into the goal. Now VAR did look at it for a long time and got the ref to look at it herself, and the ref gave the goal. Now just after last week when I was talking about how I think VAR has been good and has got every decision correct, I think in my opinion this goal should have been disallowed and the VAR and the ref were incorrect, but again it's all down to opinion, and my opinion was that it wasn't a goal because at the end of the day Kerr was in an offside position, and even though she didn't touch it, she was interfering with play, and that means that it's offside and it shouldn't be a goal. But like you say, VAR is all down to opinion, and yeah, that goal gave Australia the win. They won 3-2. A really good win for them, a great comeback. It was a very interesting, entertaining game, but that's what Australia needed. Also in Group C, Jamaica played Italy. After 9 minutes, Italy were given a penalty from VAR, this time a correct decision, but they were denied by young Schneider. However, some more drama for you. The penalty was to be taken again because of an offence from the goalkeeper. So basically Schneider came off her line before the penalty was kicked. Within the new rules, I think she has to keep 1 foot on the line. So the penalty was retaken, and this time Italy scored to make it 1-0. 15 minutes later, Girelli gets her second of the game, and right at the beginning of the second half, Italy and Girelli get their third. A brilliant shot from distance, right into the top corner, gave Italy their fourth. And to finish off, they get a fifth. That ensures Italy a place in the last 16. 5-0, pretty big scoreline, no one really saw that coming. So Italy sit top of Group C on 6 points. Didn't see that coming. So Brazil are second on 3 points by goal difference over Australia, who are also on 3 points. And Jamaica are last on 0 points. So Italy will now play Brazil. This will be a very good game. Battle for first. Brazil need a win to have a chance in qualifying, because if they don't win and Australia win, that means Australia will finish second. Brazil will have to hope to qualify third. Saying that though, Australia will play Jamaica. You'd have thought Australia will win, but this is a very close group, and Brazil, Italy and Australia could all actually finish on the same points. They could all finish on 6 points. This group could become really interesting. All 3 of them could qualify. Just depends which way round. It'll come down to goal difference, who knows, maybe even goals scored. In the 250th match of the Women's World Cup, Japan played Scotland. Both teams ideally needed a win to stand with a chance of qualifying. Japan opened the scoring after 23 minutes. They then got a penalty. I mean, it was a bit of a light decision if you ask me, but I kind of see why it was given. So Japan increased their lead to 2-0 from the spot. The first half was all Japan really. A few good saves from Alexander kept it at 2 for Japan, but Scotland didn't give up, and in the second half they rattled the post, and there was also a controversial penalty shout. Now, I personally think it should have been a penalty. Basically, as Cuthbert was controlling the ball, Shimizu kind of takes it away from her with her arm, and with the new rules in the previous penalties given for handball, I think it totally should have been handball. Like, I don't see anything different. In fact, I think it's worse than some of the handballs that have been given. I think it was more deliberate and more obvious. I kind of feel for Scotland, because I think that definitely should have been a penalty, and that would have completely changed the game. Another incorrect decision from VAR. After last week talking about how correct it's been, probably shouldn't have jinxed it last week. But with 2 minutes remaining, Scotland did get a consolation goal. Japan win 2-1. And on to England now. A very tough, fought-out game against a strong defensive Argentina. England were very unlucky, so many chances, but we just couldn't finish or find that final ball. To top it off, we were given a penalty in the first half, and a great save from Correa denied Paris. Not the best of penalties, but credit to the goalkeeper, she did extremely well. Correa kept pulling off some great saves to stop us from scoring. She performed extremely well, but we have to do better when it comes to playing the bigger teams. The goal eventually came on the hour. A nice counter-attack by England. Kirby played it out wide to Mead, who slid it along the floor, across to the far post, into the path of Taylor, who tapped it in. Despite that goal though, we still couldn't get another. We had a total of 19 shots, 7 on target and only 1 in. It's always tough to play a team that puts 11 men behind the ball, but the win does put us through to the knockouts. And it was also nice to see Neville mix up the team a bit. I mean, he has so many choices, like everyone on the list will do a great job. We have so many great players. It'll be interesting to see who he plays in the last group game against Japan. So that win does put us top of Group D on 6 points. Japan are in second on 4 points, Argentina in third on 1 point, and Scotland are unfortunately last with no points. Scotland really need a win in the last game against Argentina to stand any chance at all of qualifying, and even then they're only relying on finishing best third. However, saying that, if Argentina win and Japan lose to us, Argentina will finish joint on points with Japan, and it will come down to goal difference. That would be really interesting. Imagine if Argentina finished second in the group. No one would have seen that coming. Argentina had awful stats coming into this World Cup. All the groups are kind of interesting. There's so many different ways it could go. This World Cup is a lot closer than I thought it would be. In Group E, the Netherlands played Cameroon. Another well thought out game. Miedema opened the scoring with a diving header, but 5 minutes before half-time, Cameroon came back with a ball over the top, and a hesitation from the goalkeeper allowed Ngene to head it over her and then slot it in. A perfectly timed run and well taken goal. A clever free kick at the beginning of the second half gave the Netherlands the lead again, and Miedema then scored a nice goal to give the Dutch a 3-1 win over Cameroon. Canada played New Zealand. Some good chances both ways. Both keepers forced to make good saves in the first half, but in the second half, a ball over the top to Prince, who cut it back to an unmarked Fleming, gave Canada a 1-0 lead. A great save by Naylor prevented Prince from scoring later on, possibly one of the best saves of the competition so far. It was a great save. But Prince eventually got her goal, giving Canada a 2-0 win. So that means the Netherlands top Group E on goal difference over Canada, both on 6 points, both into the last 16. Cameroon and New Zealand are last on 0 points. These last 2 games are going to be great. So the Netherlands play Canada, so whoever wins that wins the group. The teams have both performed similarly so far, so it's going to be really interesting to see who wins and who's going to top the group. Cameroon then play New Zealand. Again, both teams have performed so similar. I'm really looking forward to this group. It's going to be good. I feel like both games are going to be really entertaining. And finally on to Group F. Sweden played Thailand. Not a huge win like the States, but it was still a big one. 5-1 to Sweden it finished. Sweden opened the game with a goal in the first 5.5 minutes. That's the quickest goal so far at this tournament. Some great goals there from Sweden. In added time though, Thailand got a goal. Their first ever World Cup goal. They did celebrate like they'd won the whole tournament, but it was well deserved. And then to finish the game, another handball decision gave Sweden a penalty to win 5-1. Again, with all the handballs, it was a close one. Like, she was really close to her. I don't think she could have moved her hand out the way. But again, it's opinion. All the others have been given, so really it should have been given. But again, it was close. It was tight. I don't know anymore. I honestly don't know. Finally, USA played Chile. A beautiful opening goal from Lloyd. She caught the volley perfectly. Ertz then got the second with a bullet of a header, and another corner gave Lloyd another goal. 3-0. And again, another outstanding performance by Endler. She kept the score down. She made such a superb save. Again, probably one of the best so far. I think it was the best save. I take back what I said earlier. That was probably the best save of the World Cup so far. VAR then gave another penalty, another controversial one. I personally thought it was outside the box, and I think a lot of other people did as well. I mean, like I said, it's all down to opinion, and the ref looked at the screen and gave it as a penalty. I don't know. I still think it was outside the box. I don't know anymore. But anyway, Lloyd stepped up to take it to get a hat-trick, but she swung it wide, so she missed, and the score stayed at 3-0. USA top Group F on some crazy goal difference over Sweden, who are also on 6 points. Chile and Thailand are both on 0. A much tougher game for the USA next. They play Sweden. That will certainly be a good game to watch. So yeah, that concludes episode 3. Thank you for listening. We are now on iTunes, so you can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud and Stitcher. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Female Football Focus. It was a very interesting group of games this week, and next week will be even better. Some big games this week. Next week will be the usual roundup, plus we'll talk about the England game, England-Japan, a big game. Make sure you're watching that. England play on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We'll also talk about the brackets, who finished where, who plays who. That's going to be interesting. Who will England play? Will we finish top of our group? Will we play third BEF? Or will we finish second and play 1E? Who knows? Make sure you're listening on Friday. So yeah, thank you for listening, and come on England.